Gretchen, tell us about yourself. Who are you?
I am a longtime private chef of the rich and sometimes famous.
All right, so other than adoring me more than life itself, because we've been friends for so long, why are you willing to do this? Given your credentials, why are you willing to do something as silly as this with me?
Have always loved vegetables. My entire passion in life has been vegetables. I have been a vegetarian most of my life, and it was always because I loved vegetables more than meat. I've just always been passionate about vegetables, and I'm stoked to be able to join with Rachel and teach you how to make vegetables the center of your plate and make them really fun and enjoyable and take them international flavors and just have fun. We're going to be making some charred sweet chili edamame with a little hint of orange and sesame. The focus of this particular menu item is that things aren't always as scary as they seem or we've been taught. I'll be featuring a number of things or just talking us through some fears. We all have to step outside our comfort zone sometimes, so this is a good way to reach out a little bit. First scary item is edamame, or soybeans. Soy has gotten a bad rap in the United States because of claims that it raised estrogen levels. The good news is that it only raises estrogen levels in people that have a lot of estrogen receptors, meaning women. So men don't have to worry about soy products raising their estrogen, and women, when they need raised estrogen, is an awesome protein option. So you do not have to be afraid of soy. Soy is our friend. Unfortunately, we're filming this video a little out of season, so we've got frozen ones, and second fear, we've got a little freezer burn. I don't know if you can see it on there. Obviously, if it's like totally gnarly and covered in freezer burn, you're gonna just have to say sorry and throw it away. But this can be saved. The best way to save it is with a ton of flavor. We are adding a lot of different ways to boost the flavor. We're gonna steam it up to begin with, and then give it a nice char, and then toss it with a really flavorful sauce. That's got a nice amount of salt, like it's an ocean. We're gonna bring it to a boil it for about 5 minutes or so.
Now, it took us some time for this to come to a boil because it started off as frozen. Were we talking about 5 minutes after it starts boiling, or are we talking 5 minutes total time in the water?
Better to err on less time because it is gonna get a double cooked method. It was just about, honestly, 5 minutes total. You definitely don't want to overcook, you'll just end up with mush. What looked like a lot of freezer burn, you can tell it just is like spots. It really ended up great. And I have them on the towel here because in order to get a good char, you want them nice and dry. If they were wet, when they hit the pan, they would just steam. And that's not what you want to happen. Spread them out and then they'll air dry pretty fast, or you can pat them dry as well. I have a pan heating up in the background right now too, so they'll be ready to hit that hot pan in just a moment. We've got a couple more scary options here. The first one, we've got some lovely ginger and garlic. And all my life I've been taught to peel ginger, peel a lot of things that I've learned are unnecessary to peel, and by peeling it you're taking away a lot of nutrients. Ginger is one of those, especially when you have beautiful young fresh ginger. Like this has got a really nice clean skin. If you've got a thick papery skin, probably gonna still wanna peel it, but this one there's no reason to peel it, especially when you're gonna microplane it and make it nice and fine. I'm doing half a recipe from what's on the printed recipe. Normally you'd have double the amount of that edamame. We've got about half a teaspoon of grated ginger. And as you can see, those like little tiny pieces of peel there, not a big deal. And interesting thing about ginger too is so much of those nutrients are located literally right underneath that skin. So by peeling the skin, you're peeling away some concentrated nutrients. Got this absolutely beautiful garlic. Again, the recipe says full clove. Since we're only doing half, we'll do a half of it. And if you missed my video yesterday, this method of doing garlic leads to a really gentler flavor, not nearly as aggressive and sharp. A lot of chefs you'll find microplane garlic. I hit it with the side of my knife, but only enough to peel it, not enough to really crush it, because as soon as you crush it like that, it releases a lot of the really harsher flavors. Last thing on our microplane, we are gonna do a little fresh orange zest in there. Orange and sesame is such a lovely combo. About a half a teaspoon, more like 3/4 of a teaspoon of that orange zest. Then we're gonna do about a tablespoon of the sweet chili sauce. And this is truly however you like it. If you like it sweeter, do more of this and less of the sriracha. It's absolutely a choose your own adventure. We're gonna just do a little squirt of that sriracha, make it get more heat. And then this calls for liquid aminos or soy sauce. If you're a vegetarian, liquid aminos are an awesome choice because it's a complete protein. The one thing is if you're gluten-free, be sure and pick a tamari instead of a soy. Give that a bit of a whisk. Again, since we've got just a half batch. It's a little awkward to whisk, but it's whisking. And the final ingredient that we're going to use to toss with them at the end are some sesame seeds. And here in Michigan, I was looking for both black and white toasted sesames. Could only find black, but we did find hemp seeds. And that is our final fear item, is hemp seeds. They are a remarkable source of omega-3s and fiber, so much that George Washington planted them at the White House when he moved. Hemp is an amazing crop and provides a lot of other nutrients. Since we couldn't find white sesame seeds, we improvised and actually upped our nutritional on this. So added some oil to that. One of my own fears as a professional chef, I almost always set off smoke alarms in private homes. Not that I'm burning anything, but simply because chefs cook at much higher heat. So I'm conquering my own fears here too,
Yes.
folks.
And if it goes off, we will stop this video.
I'm gonna heat that up literally almost to the smoking point just below.
Now, why are we charring the edamame at all? What is the goal of charring the edamame?
We've got a little bit of extra flavor we wanted to add on, and it's also just a fun twist. Everyone has steamed edamame. There's the garlic chili classic twists on it, but charring brings out that sweetness, brings out a lot of depth of flavor. Charring is an extra step that makes a really big difference in your end product. We're just gonna let those
The hand in the pan would be my fear right there.
got asbestos fingers.
Oh, that's a no from me.
This is another thing about professional chefs versus home chefs. And you'll notice I salted the water, salt the edamame again. Instead of doing salt all at once, you salt every step, and then you end up with a really well-balanced seasoned product. Look at this, you got this awesome color on there. Was due mainly to the dry. Dry is key.
And this is really high heat.
Yes. The biggest burner on the stove. You'll notice I'm not tossing it all the time. You let it really get some good. You'll do this for a total of about 4 minutes or so. If you really want like a good super even char on all of them, you would use a little bit more oil, but I have a much lighter hand with oil. So now this sauce is really thick. You could thin it out with a little bit of water if you're worried about this next step, because you don't want it to burn. The first thing you're gonna do is turn off your heat before adding your sauce. A little caramelization of the sugars wouldn't be so bad, but this is a fast process. You can stir it if you're more comfortable with that. Isn't that gorgeous? All glossy and
All shiny,
caramelized.
beautiful.
So now we'll come back over and serve it up. We're gonna sprinkle some sesame on there and the hemp seeds mix.
So you toss a little with it in the pan and then the rest is on top?
Yeah, and then we'll sprinkle some on top. And this would be a good time too if you wanted to add a little bit more orange zest. Brighten that flavor up. There you go, charred edamame. Don't forget to do that trick with the microplane.
Zooming in so everybody can see that glorious detail. Whoa. That is a beautiful. Now, would you call this a side dish? Would you call this an appetizer?
This is an awesome thing, as you saw how fast it is to whip up, right? With pantry staples for the most part. This is an awesome thing if you've got friends coming over for a quick drink. So great, but it's also a complete protein. If you're ravenous, you come home, you got 5 minutes and you got an awesome snack, or 10 minutes, let's be real, but yeah. But yeah, it's a great starter to a meal, your main course protein. Yeah. Thank you.